Syria, the news continues to be disastrous. Apparently, in a town called Kafr Owaid, there has been, in the Idlib province, a massive attack by the government on the citizens. Several different agencies are reporting that over 100 have been killed, including the British-based Syrian Observatory for Human Rights and the local coordination committees, which is another activist group. Unfortunately, the Syrian government, of course, is not allowing journalists in, so it's very hard to confirm the exact numbers, but it appears that there was a massacre there. Also, 70 troops tried to basically defect and go to the other side near the Turkish border. They were gunned down and killed. So the bloodshed continues. Now, of course, the Syrians had promised the Arab League, oh, no, we're done. No, of course, no more bloodshed. We promise, we promise. They went back home and immediately started doing these killings. So all they're trying to do is buy time. But the real point I wanted to make here for you, the analysis on this, is that you might be wondering, why are the Syrians getting to do so much violence and nobody's doing anything about it? So Arab League says, oh, we condemn you, right? And a lot of that is Sunni Shia politics, but then there's no real action. European nations aren't doing anything. The U.S. isn't doing anything. And over 5,000 have been killed, according to the United Nations, so far in that uprising. And it's been a largely peaceful one. They're basically getting mowed down. Now it's finally beginning to get to the point where some of the army is defecting, as I just said. So it's developing into more of a Libya situation. But the reason Syria is doing this level of violence and getting away with it is because they know that they can get away with it. Because Israel is perfectly happy with Bashar Assad. They don't want a democratically elected government in Syria because they're worried that the Syrian population is very anti-Israel. I get it. If you're Israel, that's a legitimate concern for you. Should that mean that we shouldn't support Syrian democracy? Of course not. But it, in effect, doesn't mean that? Oh, of course it means that. Because if Israel's not in favor of it, that means the United States is not in favor of it. So we put out statements saying, Bashar, how dare you? You're a naughty, naughty boy. Don't do that. We'll see you later. Wink. Okay? And so we're not going to do a damn thing about it. The Europeans just, spent all their energy on Libya. And by the way, here's another factor, if you don't know, is very, very relevant. Syria has, in effect, no oil. So you would take down a pro-Israeli government, relatively speaking, right? Certainly relative to what they might get in its place. And there's no oil interest. Nobody's going into Syria. They can kill as many people as they like. The only country that seems genuinely mad about it is Turkey, because they're their neighbors and it's affecting them. You got the refugees coming in, et cetera, et cetera. So they're pissed. So on an off chance, they might do something, but that would be a mess, right? But outside of that, there's no chance anybody's going to do anything unless it becomes a Sunni Shia mess. But the Western powers are like, yeah, damn shame what's happening in Syria. We'll see how it sorts itself out. So Syrian protesters, democracy movement, if you're looking for help from the West, unfortunately, you're probably looking at the wrong place. Not likely to happen. That's the reality.